Hello everyone and welcome to our second day in our Halloween special week. Today we're going to continue with another software. As I mentioned yesterday, we're going to be doing a different software each day, and today we're going to be working with Maya. We're going to do a modeling exercise, which I think a lot of people are going to really like, especially if you're a beginner. I'm trying to make this exercise a little bit more beginner friendly so that anyone can try them and of course get a very nice looking prop. But before we jump into there, just a couple of notes. Someone asked me yesterday about someone asked yesterday on the comments about the specific things for the weapon design contest that we're gonna have, and or that we are currently having. There we go. These are the rules. So it's only one submission per student. It's open to all levels. All assets on the project must be produced by you, so you can't, of course, download something and submit it as yours. Oh, there we go. So yeah. Submissions has to be a full HD render, 1920 by 1080, in the best possible presentation that you can give your asset. And if you're gonna go for a square composition for like Instagram, Facebook, and the social network, then 2K square is the required size. They will only be counted if submitted through the Google Drive folder or the email that I'm going to be sharing with you in the next couple of days. Again, we're still like trying to find the best way to submit this stuff, because the least or the last thing I want to happen is for someone to submit to the Google Drive and then a malicious participant that I'm sure there's none of you right now watching the video deleting things and not finding them or something like that. So to make sure everyone has a fair chance at this, that's what we're going to do. 3 winners will selected, 1 grand prize, 2 honorable mentions. The project will be evaluated on originality, execution, and presentation. Of course, plagiarism is not tolerated. Not safe for work content. So no, not super gory and stuff like that. The due date, it says right here, it's October 29th. We've changed this, so if you're watching the video, you know that this has changed. The submission will be on October 31st. Okay, October 31st. I'm gonna leave one link down here in the video. I know it says here submission link in the description, so I'm not gonna confuse anyone. I am gonna leave a link down here, but we're gonna have another link later on. If you submit on this link, I will check it, but just be aware that if you submit here and something happens, there's not much I can do, because it's a share folder, so everyone has access to it, and that of course means that there are some risks involved. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the weapon contest. Now, if what's the trying to figure out what else was I gonna say, but I think that's pretty much it. Before we jump onto our stuff, and while I'm loading Maya, just don't forget that we have our Skillshare promotion. If you want to learn 3D, Skillshare is your best option. Hey guys, Abraham here. I just wanted to remind you guys that we upload all of our courses to Skillshare. Skillshare is this amazing site where you can access a ton of different content to learn, improve, and grow as an artist. We have all of our courses available to watch and learn from right now in Skillshare. You can check the description down here, and Skillshare is offering 1 free month trial to their premium membership. With this membership, you're going to be able to access all of our courses and watch and learn all of the amazing things that we cover with all of the softwares. So what are you waiting for? Check Skillshare down here below. There we go. So yeah, as I mentioned, today we're going to be working on Maya. First thing we need to do, of course, is we need to set our project. Setting the project, super important to make sure all of the textures, things, and the source images or whatever linked here. And what are we going to do today, you might ask? Well, today we're going to be doing a coffin. So we're going to go here, open, and I'm going to go and look for this coffin picture that I found. Don't worry, this is not a, well, it's a real coffin, but it's for Halloween decorations. At least that's what the image said. So yeah, this is like old wooden coffin that we're gonna be making. Maybe Dracula is gonna be sleeping here or something. And I think this is a great exercise for anyone from a beginner to even an intermediate level, because even though it seems super simple, it's actually quite tricky. And I'm gonna show you a couple of things that are gonna make our element look even better. We're gonna do the same thing. Right now we're at 4.5 minutes, so I'm gonna try to do this in 30 minutes. Dr. Manhattan yesterday, one of our big fans here in the channel, he suggested me to do lives. I would love to do it, my friend, but unfortunately I have a full-time job, or like a full-time day job, and I do this on my free time. Well, not only on my free time, of course I planned for this, but this is sort of like a plus, because not only am I doing this, I'm also recording the premium courses, and there's a lot of work. So we will have a live. I hope we can have a live very soon. So if we take a look at this, you're gonna see that the shape of the coffin is very simple, right? It's just like this sort of like hexagon, I think, like a stretched out hexagon. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my polygons. I'm gonna create a plane right here I'm gonna rotate this plane 90 degrees so that it's facing me. I'm gonna push this image plane back, of course. And I'm gonna change the divisions to 0 divisions, or 1 division in this case. I'm gonna grab the lower vertices, bring them down and scale them in. Bring these guys, bring them up, scale them up like this. And then I'm gonna grab this edge right here and I'm gonna extrude it so that we get the top portion. Now this shape right here is gonna be really, really important because this is the base of our whole coffin, right? So if we make sure that this looks as nice as possible, then everything else is gonna be super, super easy. I'm actually gonna call this a base because we're gonna be using this quite a bit. I'm gonna duplicate one of them. I'm gonna press H to hide one or the other. And if you take a look at this, you're gonna see that we have 4 planks of wood. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm gonna go with my insert edge loop, and I'm gonna insert 1 edge loop right there, 1 edge loop right there, and 1 edge loop right there. The only problem with this is the edge loops are not straight, right? And if we want this to be as realistic as possible, I'm gonna grab my scale tool and scale this so that they match the center right there. That one's pretty much straight, so I'm just gonna straighten it up a little bit more, and I'm gonna grab this edge right here and straighten this one as well. Now, since they didn't go outside of the borders, as you can see, they like perfectly fit the wood, and it's working, I would say, as intended. So there we go. Now, what we can do with this is we can actually grab or generate the planks from this specific element. How do we do this? We're going to select all of these edges, and I'm going to say here in the modeling section, edit mesh, detach. What that will do is now those edges are detached. If you're familiar with Blender, it's kind of like separating. And now we just need to grab object mode, and I'm gonna say mesh separate, and that's gonna give me 1, or each of this is now gonna be a specific plank. I'm gonna get rid of this guy's middle sections because we really don't need them, and they're just gonna add more stuff to the whole thing. And now we're gonna grab all of them. Getting a call, that's weird. There we go. I'm gonna grab all of them, and I want to extrude them. So I'm gonna press Ctrl E to extrude them, and I'm gonna push them forward to get like the roughly the size of the plank that we want, which something like that looks perfectly nice. Now we're gonna go to each one of this. I'm gonna isolate them real quick, and I'm gonna grab all of the edges except for that one right there, and I'm gonna bevel them. I'm gonna give this 2 segments and a small fraction. There we go. So we get a nice soft look to the whole thing. Same thing for this one. This one we don't need to isolate. It's just a square, so we can just like directly bevel. 2 segments, and we can change the fractions. So some of them can have like a stronger bevel, and some of them could have like a thinner bevel. That's also gonna give us a little bit of variation on the planks. Let's grab this guy right here. Same thing, grab everything except for that line right there. We bevel 2 segments. Why not that one? Because we don't want to when we press number 3. Well, we're not gonna press number 3 in this case, but if we were to press number 3, we might want to add actually subdivision level right there. So I'm gonna add it just to have it. I'm not gonna do number 3 though. I'm just gonna keep it like this. I just want to change the silhouette. This is more for like I was thinking for like a game asset. So we're gonna keep things a little bit softer. There we go. So now that's it. We have the back part of the coffin ready. Let's build up the walls. Because as you can see, the walls, there's like a couple of different planks as well that are creating the walls. Now that's why we saved the original one, because from this original one, that's from where we're going to be creating the walls for our coffin. So I'm going to grab this guy, I'm going to isolate it, grab all of the edges, and Ctrl E, extrude them to create the walls. How deep or not? Probably something like that. That sounds good. I'm going to duplicate this again. Let's hide the original one because we're going to be using it later. And then this one right here, I'm going to delete the back faces, and we're going to be left exactly with the planks that we need, right? So the only thing we need to do here, grab all of the edges, or the inner edges right there. I'm going to say edit mesh and separate, or detach again, sorry. We're going to grab everything again, and we're going to say mesh, and we're going to do a separate. Now, as you can see, all of them have been separated into single, what's the word? Like wood thingies. But actually, before we do that, I'm actually going to go back, because as you can see here on the reference, on the image plane, I would expect there to be like 2 or 3 planks, like creating this whole thing. So I'm going to grab this guy right here. I'm going to insert an edge loop. We're going to insert an edge loop like at 40%, and then another one like at 60%. There we go. Something like that. Now we need to separate every single one of them, right? So all of these guys, easiest way, just grab everything and then deselect the outer edges so that we get all of the inner ones. And we're going to say edit mesh, detach. We grab all of this, guys, and we're gonna say mesh. Oh, sorry, mesh. Yeah, mesh. Separate. Now each shingle or each like plank of wood is a separate piece. Grab everything here. We're gonna extrude them. We're gonna extrude all of them towards the inside. Actually, in this case, I think we need to go towards like the outside. We want the inside to be like really, really sharp there. Like we don't want to see any like weird lines or anything. The objects are of course inverted, so we're gonna say mesh display and reverse. By the way, don't get scared. That's the little like like audio loop that I have on my on the background doing the whole thing. So we're gonna grab this. Now the problem with doing a bevel is that we need to do the bevel and we need to do it like a couple of times for all of them. It's kind of like expected. There we go. So you can press G. If you press G, you're gonna do the last action, and as you can see, it's a little bit easier to just like repeat. Now, technically, we could do all of them at the same time, but unfortunately, if we do this all at the same time and you just move one, it's only gonna move one of them. You will need to grab all of them, and then maybe it will work now. We might need to go here, but since it's a different bevel, there we go. That actually works quite nice. Sometimes it doesn't work, by the way. That's why I'm not like counting on it. In this case, it did work, so we're able to modify and create this for all of them. And there we go. Look at that. Not bad, huh? Not freaking bad. Now, what we can do is, of course, we can like modify a couple of things. For instance, all of this guys right here. I can definitely see that we want to like bring them lower, because if we take a look at this thing right here, we need to make sure that things like match, right? So I'm gonna go to vertex mode, grab some of this guys, just push them down. I'm gonna actually like overshoot a little bit, and they don't have to all line up. This is where I've always mentioned that 3D tends to make things way too perfect, and when we make things too perfect, it's very obvious that it's 3D. So if we vary these things a little bit, as you can see right there, that's gonna be a great way to add some nice details to the whole thing. Same for this ones. For instance, let's first of all, let's grab everything, and I'm gonna center the pivot point. Grab this guy. I'm just gonna like push them a little bit in or a little bit out, you know, like make them like slightly skewed. It's gonna make things look quite nice. Same for this one. Let's push this one a little bit in. That, and that's gonna create a little bit of extra contrast. That's gonna be really good for us. Now you can see here on the upper side, this ones, they definitely need to go like above, like this. And then, yeah, we have a little bit of overlaps. Is that the end of the world? Nah, it's not really the end of the world. Do we want to fix it? We could. Best way to fix this would be to go to this guy right here. Just like move the borders a little bit. Like this vertex right here. Again, just adding a little bit of extra visual interest to the piece. There we go. Cool. So yeah, we got this part right here. I'm a little bit concerned about this guy right here. As you can see, it looks a little bit weird. So I'm actually gonna go to this guy. I'm gonna say vertex and just gonna like match those. Vertex, move them down. Vertex, move them down. There we go. So that way they are like actually matching, right? And no one's gonna be pulling out of the coffin. Let's go here. I love modeling. Can you guys tell? It's just so fun, right? Let's go there. There we go. Perfect. Cool. So yeah, that's it. We got the thing right here. Now, as you can see, there's a couple of planks inside of the coffin that are holding the whole coffin together, and those are quite important. Those are the little details that we need to make sure that we get right. Give me just 1 second. Gotta check something over here. I promise I'm not gonna move Maya. I'm gonna pause the video, but I'm not gonna move Maya. I promise. There we go. It's a family message that I need to take care of. So we're gonna add those planks, and it's just a cube. It's just a simple cube. Like no need to overthink this. Just a cube. Let's make it thinner. Let's make it like a plank. Let's make it longer. We got 2 planks, right? Like that one and the other one. So let's position this one. Let's go to front view. I mean, if I want to be precise, might as well just follow what we have right here. So there we go. That's the first one. This one's a little bit longer. And then we have a couple of extra ones over here. Just gonna make sure that we're placing them where they should be. So for instance, this one's gonna be right there on the border. There we go. As you can see, we're trying to match the image as close as possible. We can make a little bit of like a couple of changes here and there. That's also gonna make things look a little bit more interesting. There's like a secondary one right here, like down here. Besides, the image is in perspective, so we need to take that into account. We're not in perspective. So it's like this. Side one right there. Let's push this again, slightly skewed. And we have a final one there on the bottom. Oh, so those are the back parts of the little of the whole thing. I'm gonna grab all of them now. Since all of them are like, they're not like exactly where they're like on top of each other, it might be a little bit easier to play around with them at the same time. So I'm just gonna like move this guys to the floor. There we go. And I grab all of these guys here, just combine them, and there you go. So just grab all of them, bevel them, 2 segments and a small fraction. Perfect. There we go. Got the nice little construction there. Now, as you can see, there's other like horizontal ones that are giving the whole box a little bit more sturdiness. Is that the word? I think so. So we're just gonna push this up. This. Thin. Make them tall. Position them where they're supposed to go. Which is roughly about there. Perfect. We go to the front view. And now, as you can see, we got one there. Control D. We got one on the other side. Control D. We got one here on the top. On our top, not exactly the top from the concept. There we go. And then we got another one like right here. Again, we follow our line. Got another one on the other side, I would expect. And then we got one all the way down here. Get out our proportion. Control D, we get this over here. And finally, on the corners. There we go. Grab all of these guys. We combine them as well. Actually, not that one. There we go. So all of the planks, we combine them. We bevel them. 2 segments and a small fraction. Right. The reason I do the bevel, it's because it just makes a nicer border. If you were doing this for like a mobile game or you want to really optimize things, then yeah, you can keep it a 90-degree angle and that's fine. But as you can see, we're only at 400 or 4,000 triangles. It's perfectly fine. We're doing, we're okay with that one. And there we go. We have the side elements ready. Now the last part that we need, the final part, is the front of the whole element. And the great thing is we already have the back. So the only thing we need to do is duplicate this. And probably just center the pivot point. Combine, center the pivot point. Just make it a little bit bigger, right? Like a little bit bigger, a little bit wider. Because this thing should be like nailed or closed in that specific way. And as you can see, we have a couple of extra supports. We have this guys right here. Let's add them. So I'm gonna add 1 cube. I'm guessing this guy right here like stops somewhere. I'm not sure. Let's go to the front view. So this one is only grabbing the first like 2 planks, but I'm just gonna go a little bit more. This is where you can start making making some decisions for yourself. There's one on the bottom here. and then there's like 2 like lateral ones. So right on the edge, actually, like there and there. And again, making or keeping things a little bit like not exact is always a great way to give more originality to the pieces. You can do it. You can't always do that, by the way. If you have a concept and it's a really clean and clear concept of how it needs to be, then yeah, it's gonna be a little bit difficult to follow that. There we go. So I'm just gonna combine them, and again do a quick bevel, 2 segments and a small fraction. And there we go. I'm gonna turn on our ambient occlusion, screen space ambient occlusion, which is this one right here. No, it's actually this one right here. So we can see the shadows a little bit better. And what we can do is we can definitely grab these 2 guys right here, for instance, and just combine them into a single object so that we can like move the thing around, right? And same thing for this one. We can grab the whole thing and we can combine this into a single object, and that's pretty much it. So technically we're only at 21 minutes, so we did this in 15 minutes. Not bad, huh? Not bad. 15 minutes speed modeling, but we can still make this even better. So how can we make this better? Well, we can add small little details such as the nails. Nails are very obvious, and you can see that we have them pretty much all over the door. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to model a small nail that we can duplicate a lot of times. Because technically we could add the nails in texture, but again, if we want to really make this thing like pop, adding the nails as an extra piece of geometry is always going to give you better shadows, better textures, better everything. The problem is, of course, it's going to be a little bit heavier. So to account for that, I'm actually going to create this thing, which is a polygon discs. I don't usually use this one right here because, as you can see, well, it's actually not bad, but I'm going to bring the subdivision to 1. It's pretty much like a very simple like cylinder, like a 6-sided cylinder, but without the poles, because when you have the poles on the cylinder, you have like 20 sides or something. So I'm going to extrude this thing, push it up, delete the lower faces, and then just smooth it once. I'm going to give it just 1 bevel here. Let's grab the whole edge. And just a small bevel there. And when we mesh smooth, as you can see, this is only going to be 120 points. And it's going to give us this sort of like faceted look on the nail. So that's what we want. It's definitely going to increase the poly count quite a bit. So I'm going to delete that one actually. But 96 triangles, it's actually quite fine. So I'm going to bring this. And as you can see here, for instance, we have like 4, pretty much like very uniform. So I'm going to start with this guys right here. This is going to be the time consuming part because we need to place a lot of stuff, right? So I'm going to make this really small, place it where it should be, like right about there. And then I'm just going to like randomly place some of them right there. Again, not necessarily like super precise. Making sense, for instance, if I can see the boards on the other sides, it would make sense that I try to like nail them to the boards, right? So let's grab this ones, Control D, and we can break them all the way up here. And for instance, here we can have like a couple of extra ones, right? Okay, that's a problem. So let's grab this guys and push them. They're right above the surface. This is why I did the thickness thing, because you can actually push the thickness, so we actually get them like that. Let's grab this guys real quick. There we go. Let's do 1 extra one right there, and then just 1 on this side. Let's just duplicate this guy. Now, do we want to add like nails everywhere? Probably. That would be the ideal thing to do, right? Because it's going to give us the best result. But in this case, since our render is going to be just from this view, again, probably, then that means that we can save a little bit of polygons by not doing it everywhere and just keeping it on the parts that are going to be visible. It's a very common principle in 3D and in games and everything. If you're not going to see it, if people are not going to interact with it, you don't need to do it. It's just extra time that you're spending on things that are not even going to be ever seen, right? So no need to do it. There we go. I like that. I do think, because I'm thinking about the render, like how are we going to render this? And I think I'm going to do it like a semi-open thing. I'm going to grab all of these discs right here. I'm I'm gonna group them. I'm not gonna combine them because I want to have access to them, but I'm gonna group them, and I can grab this guys right here, and I can move it to the side. And actually, let's group all of them. Control G, so that's like a second group, so we can rotate this around. So again, I'm already thinking about the render that we're gonna have, which is gonna be something like this. So yeah, that's really much it, guys. I think that's as far as I want to go with this one. I do want to add the side bolts though. I think those are gonna be that's gonna be a good idea. So let's bring this back. Let's grab one of these bolts. Control D. Rotate this around -90 degrees. And we definitely would expect to see some of the bolts here. That's why we have this woods in there, I think. Because the bolts from the outside like should match with those. Let's push this in. Again, we can keep them like non-perfect. So not perfectly aligned is always a way to add some interest. And then up here, as you can see, yeah, I would expect to see some nails here probably. A little bit too big, the nails, I think. Starting to look a little bit cartoonish, but that's fine. It's Halloween. We can go whimsical and magical as well, right? Go. And I would definitely expect them to have like some of them on the top. And then we can just grab some of them, just like move them slightly to different directions, right, to give them a little bit of an extra something. Grab one of this guys, bring it down here, and you can see we're still under 10k. So even this asset, and now with nanite, if it's not going to be in a deformable asset, we can just bring this thing exactly as is to Unreal, for instance, and it'll work perfectly fine. There we go. Do we want to add on the bottom? Yeah, why not? Let's have some nails on the bottom. Let's push this. Go. Push this forward. Perfect. So if we go to the group and we select all of these discs right here, except for the ones on the front, we should be able to mirror them. Shift, right click, mirror, and we can mirror on positive X in this case. Hit apply. And there we go. We're gonna have all of the bolts on the other side. So I'm gonna call this group nails. There we go. And we're ready to render. We are ready to jump into the rendering section. So I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna just cheat very, very slightly. This is not the proper way to do it, but I wanna create a nice image for you guys. So what I'm gonna do is as follows. Let's delete this guys real quick. Let's create an infinite plane. Because I want you guys to be able to create something nice as well. We're gonna extrude this out, and then we can delete some of this guys, bevel this one, big fraction and low segments. That's like an infinite plane. There we go. Let's get a camera. So rendering, panels, look to selected. Let's get a resolution gate. You guys know I like to move things to the right. There we go. So that's going to be our scene, but I do want to texture it. I do want to do a quick texture. So I'm going to grab every single piece except for the nails. So I'm actually going to like hide the nails just a second. And one of the big or good things about all of the planks is they're very, very easy. So what I'm going to do, very easy to UV. So I'm going to just say a freeze transformation, delete history. And all of this, guys, I'm just going to say UV, automatic UVs. And this is cheating. Well, it's not cheating, but it's not the right way to do it. It's going to give us something, as you can see right here. I mean, it works. It's not ideal, but it works. And then I'm going to do the same for the nails. So I'm going to grab all of the nails, and I'm just going to say UV, and I'm going to do a planar mapping. I'm going to do a UV planar mapping from like a camera. because these guys have no like back part, right? So it's gonna be again very easy to just select all of them and get the UVs. So now that we have everything done here, I can actually go here and just say Control U to unfold, and it's gonna unfold every single one. And then we can say Control L to layout. Right now we have UDEMs. It's fine. Again, it's not the proper way to do it. There's better ways to do it, but it's gonna work. It's gonna work. As you can see, we're getting the sort of like wood direction that we want. All of them are like pointing in the direction that we're expecting. And why did I say that we were gonna be cheating? Because I'm gonna be using the Substance plugin right here. I'm gonna use a material that I downloaded. So it's this ancient coffin wood from the Substance source files. And when I do that, what you're gonna see is that we're gonna get a new Substance node here. This is standard surface, or actually, I'm just gonna do it from scratch here. I'm gonna do Substance node texture, and we're gonna load the ancient coffin. I'm gonna load this at 2K, but then we're gonna repeat this like 4 times or something, so we have a nice resolution. And over here, I'm gonna say Arnold, create a network. And this will create all of the like necessary maps and textures that we need for Arnold. Hopefully this doesn't crash. Actually, before it does crash, I'm gonna save this real quick. We're risking a lot by not saving. There we go. So as you can see, we even get displacement. I don't want displacement, so I'm gonna get rid of the height element and just delete this one right here. And here on the place to detexture, we're repeating this 4 times, right? So now if I grab again everything except for the nails, just hide them so we don't select it. We grab all of the wood places, assign existing material, and we assign this AI standard surface. Should be the newest one. Yes, let's just call this wood material. We're gonna have a wood material on our stuff. To keep it simple, I'm just gonna go Arnold lights, and we're gonna add a sky dome light. We've done this a million times here in the channel. If you're new, welcome, and thank you for holding or for staying for all of this time. 30 minutes of your time, I really am thankful for. I really appreciate it. We're gonna use this studio small now. Let's do urban courtyard. I'm not sure. Decor show. Yeah, this one's pretty good. Because we have like a nice like blue and like there's some interesting hues. Again, let's save real quick. I'm gonna grab all of the nails. See them. I'm gonna right click, assign a new material. It's gonna be an Arnold AI standard surface. It's gonna be metal, and it's gonna be rough. There we go. So technically, we can go now to our options here. I'm gonna render with GPU. Let's see how this looks. I always get my adrenaline pumping when I'm doing this speed like tutorials or sculpting things, because it's challenging, believe it or not. It's quite challenging to finish an asset like this in 30 minutes. Let's just wait for the render to kick in. Sometimes it has like an issue. The GPU render takes like a second time to do. And like takes a little while to warm up and convert all of the textures usually. Yeah, I don't think I missed anything. Let me cancel it again. It's taking a little bit longer than usual, but just hold on, hold on. There we go. Let's go camera shape 1. That's our stuff. And let's add another light. So I'm gonna say Arnold light, area light. So it's like a spotlight coming from the front-ish, something like this. I'm gonna increase the exposure to something like a 10. I'm gonna bring the spread down. Let's see how this looks. There we go, much better. Feels like the tiling might be a little bit too much. I'm gonna increase the exposure a little bit as well. Like a 14. 14's a little bit too much. Do like a 12. There we go. You can see a little bit of the texture now. think maybe the 4K or the 4 times the tiling, the 4 times styling might be a little bit too much because we're already using UDIMs, right? So let's bring this down to like a 2. Let's go to the options because the cool thing about using substance nodes is that we actually have access to things. So for instance, we have this damaged gray wood, right? And we can say apply. We're gonna get a different, should get a different result. There we go. That looks interesting. It's a little bit too, like the roughness is not as great, so I'm gonna increase the roughness a little bit. A little bit too shiny, I would say. And now when we render, the textures get updated. There we go. That looks a little bit better. We can add like what else can we do? Size of damage. Base wood's a little bit too desaturated. Let's play around with the colors here. And here's where we can spend a lot of time like tweaking things until we find something that looks interesting. In this case, I think that's actually quite nice, I would say. The bump seems to be inverted, which is weird. It shouldn't, but it seems a little bit inverted. What I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna grab everything here, Control G to group it, and then Control D to duplicate it because I want a second coffin. I'm gonna rotate this. Let it be here on the back. Let's grab this door and the initial discs. This one's gonna be a little bit tricky. I'm gonna go to the side view. This is why organization is so important. That should work. There we go. And I group those so we have access to this like door. I'm just gonna move the door to the side, to the front, and back. So it's kind of like leaning on the actual coffin. Take a look at the render. Oh, beautiful. Nice, right? Not bad. This guy, let's push it down so we don't see it through the woods. And then this guy is there. A little bit of overlap, it's fine. And that change also allows us to see a little bit of like the damage and stuff. So yeah, there we go, guys. A coffin in 35 minutes, a little bit over 35 or 30 minutes. Final thing to do here to make sure we get a super amazing render, we're just gonna go to full HD, and on the render options, we're gonna add an optics denoiser, which is gonna clean our render once it's finished. There you go. You can see all of the cracks there. A little bit too much, I would say, a little bit exaggerated, but it gives this sort of like creepy vibe, I would say. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys like this. Hope you guys are enjoying this series so far, the Halloween special. Let me know what you think in the comments. And tomorrow, what's tomorrow? Let me know in the comments. Should we do Blender or Marvelous Designer tomorrow? Let me know, and I'll be happy to follow along. So that's pretty much it, guys. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you back tomorrow. Bye-bye.